Welcome to Dungeon Fight Club, and I'm Zombie Cat. Today we're talking about turning failures into story moments that your players will remember. So let's get into it, failing into a good time. The insane Lich has ambushed the party, and they are outnumbered. The only choice is for the group to band together and teleport away. The group's wizard begins the spell, but the experienced Lich counterspells the teleport. In a clutch play, the group's warlock counterspells the counterspell. He rolls high, but misses the mark. The spell goes through, scattering the teleportation magic apart in a golden flash. The Lich begins to laugh, and casts a wave of necrotic light over the party. The party wipes. This is a scene that plays out all the time. Unprepared or overestimating their abilities, your party takes on more than they can handle. You play your character the way it's meant to be played. This is a strategy game after all. But turning failure into the next adventure can be a really good thing. You have many options for something like this, and here are some of my favorites. Turning losses or missed opportunities into skill challenges. Have them imprisoned, and they must escape with no armor or powers. Or my personal favorite, you can let the party wipe and have them fight back from death. First, let's look at how to turn the party's losing into a skill challenge. This presents a way to give them added agency in the fight. I did something like this before. The group's wizard failed to use a spell scroll, and it essentially was going to doom the party to a long trek into the astral plane. He failed. So as I'm describing the spell failing to cast, I think, the flow isn't right. Instead, I allowed the party to use different skills and abilities to aid the characters' roles. In the end, the wizard, with the aid of all of his friends, was able to cast the spell. Behind the screen, I rolled a wild magic table. Turns out, the group became vulnerable to piercing damage for a minute, as the spell succeeds. Now you may say this is a cop-out, let the dice fall where they may. But like resurrection magic, adding a cinematic aspect to it by using skill challenges can make a memorable moment. You want consequences? Well, the spell succeeds, but you roll wild magic. Or it has a side effect, or it attracts attention of others. Your rogue lockpicks a trap and fails? Well, instead of it being death, maybe he can roll dexterity to hold the trap's spring mechanism in place, and have the rest of the party use their skills to solve the problem. This option of making failures into skill checks can be useful, especially if group participation is a bit low. Many times you'll go through a game, and people in your group haven't had their moment to shine. Turning failures into skill challenges can help with that. The magic user freezes the lock in place. The fighter uses his sword to crack a hole in the bottom of the door or floor. The druid then turns into a mouse and squeezes into the room checking it out. All without the trap going off just yet. Another option is when certain death is inevitable, have them imprisoned. Maybe they come out of this experience unlocking special powers or talents. Or, with nothing but a spoon used for their morning gruel, they dig a tunnel, Great Escape style, to freedom, with a chance at revenge later. This is an oldie but a goodie. Being brought in instead of killed gives them a chance for redemption. One way to make this more intense is ending the session with their defeat, describing the next moment of them opening their eyes in a dark dungeon cell. They find themselves with no weapons and magic dampening collars on, telling them that the next session have a backup character made. There are many variants of this that don't end the story but fill it with nuance. What I've found is that most memorable moments in gaming come from the edge of disaster. Maybe they don't all make it. Now your big bad guy has a true reputation. This brings me to another option that doesn't happen enough. Your characters wipe, and now from death they are reborn. This is a legendary campaign after all. What's more legendary than defying the gods of death? It can be done any number of ways. The characters may also choose during this time. I call this the soft reset. The Lich, casting his green necrotic energy, tosses the bodies of the adventurers carelessly into the garbage, their bodies food for his ghouls. The party wakes up along a river, its silver water rippling quietly. A wind blows mist from the capping waves across their faces. They feel a strange energy draining their memories. They are standing along the river Styx. A ferryman pulls his boat up along the side of them, asking where they want to go. Following the river south is a new life for them, a new story. Follow it north? Well, the ferryman tells them of a way to get back to where they once were. This is just an example, but any way you choose to do it, you can find interesting ways to keep the characters engaged. If they choose a new life, you re-roll and start off a new campaign. If they choose revenge, they can take a few sessions to battle through the lower realms, maybe finding a portal to the world. Or follow the river till they find a hermit who will make a bargain with them. He'll send them back, but they must do something for him in return once they get there, to the world of the living. I like this one because it gives everyone a chance to reassess their game and look at how they want to play. Often I find people actually have a few things they'll change. Maybe they started a character they didn't like, and now they regret some of their options. This is a time for it. It can also be a way to build more background lore into your game. Whatever you choose, as long as everyone is on board, it can be thrilling to turn the tide of a game from utter failure to comedy or grander adventure. Now, failing has its own merits, and some of the best times I've had gaming were when I utterly missed the mark. But that's a story for another time. Thank you for watching. Be good to each other. Okay, bye.
Thank you for watching. 3, 2, 1, subscribe!